In the world of boxing, fathers and sons are a cliche, but the Benavidez family, they aren't a cliche, they're an outlier. This is a story that features stolen food, gang wars, a femoral artery shredded by a bullet, and a 12-year-old boy who weighed 260 pounds before becoming the youngest champion in history of his division. It's a tale of a father who once ate dirt so his sons could then go conquer the world, and nearly lost his soul in the process. We are Boxing History Untold, and this is the Benavidez family, the most dangerous family in boxing. Before Jose Benavidez Sr. was a world-class trainer, he was a ghost. Abandoned at age 2, he raised himself in the cornfields of Mexico. He didn't just grow up poor, he grew up starving. He'll tell you stories of eating leaves with salt and pilfering scraps from trash bins. By 11, he was in the gang, and by 13, he was sleeping with a 9mm under his pillow. He then went on to survive the streets of Phoenix and LA with one obsession. His children would never be victims. He decided to turn his sons into weapons. Chapter 1. The Strip Mall Sanctuary. The latest home for one of boxing's youngest champions is the last place you'd ever look. In Renton, Washington, tucked away in a strip mall between a halal market and a massage parlor called Blissful Need, is a gym. The windows are blackened out with faces of Benavidez brothers Jose Jr. and David. Those posters serve two purposes. They tell the world the most challenged family in boxing has arrived, while also blocking anyone hoping to try to peer inside. Because for this family, the outside world has always been a source of violence, lawsuits, and betrayal. To understand how they got here, you have to understand the man who built them, Jose Benavidez Sr. Chapter 2. The Survivalist. Mexico, 1970s. Before Jose Benavidez Sr. was a world-class trainer, he was just a boy who had been abandoned his entire childhood. His parents split when he was 2, his father walked out, and his mother left for the United States, leaving him with an 80-year-old grandmother too frail to care for him. Senior says that he raised himself. His stories sound like myths. He says that until age 11, he worked the fields harvesting corn. He says he stole food, and when there were no scraps to pilfer, he ate leaves sprinkled with salt, discarded fruit from garbage bins, mountain animals, and even dirt. At age 11, he followed his mother to California, only for his stepdad to kick him out. He quit school after the 8th grade, ran with gangs, and started his own crew teaching the kids how to steal car stereos. He sold drugs and slept with a 9mm under his pillow. He never saw another life for himself until his first son was born. Chapter 3. The Birth of a Plan. Senior moved to Arizona and landed a job at the Ritz-Carlton, rising from dishwasher to banquet captain. He bought a house and settled down, but the streets never left him. He was haunted by the idea that he would die young, begging God for one more day, to make his sons stronger so they would pay for his mistakes. He pushed them into soccer, baseball, and swimming, but they were drawn to boxing. Senior knew nothing about the sport except the greatness of De La Hoya. He became a fanatic, pestering trainers at the gyms, wearing out the family VCR, watching instructional tapes. He started waking Junior at 5 a.m. for road work when the boy was just 2 or 3 years old. He made mini pads for the toddler to hit. Before Junior was in kindergarten, he was fighting kids twice his size. Senior told the boys, "This is what sacrifice looks like." Chapter 4. The Ugly Duckling. Then there was David. While Junior was a prodigy, David was a fan. He studied Marco Antonio Barrera and Roy Jones Jr. while watching cartoons. But when his parents divorced, the brothers' paths diverged. Junior went with his father to Hollywood to turn pro, and David stayed with his mom to take up a new hobby: eating. David dealt with the pressure of his family's legacy by scarfing down 2 packages of ramen, a sleeve of Oreos, and Taco Bell value combos, always supersized. He ballooned to 260 pounds by age 12. At school, kids taunted him. "Fat ass, you don't box." Depressed and overlooked, David finally called his father at 13. He wanted back in. Senior told him, "If you do, you will become champion of the world." But when David showed up at the gym, at Wildcard Gym in LA, Senior did a double take and said, "Dang, you're so goddamn fat." Chapter 5: The Transformation and the 18-Punch Combination. David became a teenage butterbean, heavy, but impossibly fast. He cut out everything but water and salad. The weight dripped off, but the power stayed. By 15, he was sparring world champions like Kelly Pavlik and Gennady Golovkin. Triple G became like an older brother to him, offering strategy tips and his own trainer services. At age 16, David had to turn pro in Mexico because no US commission would license a kid that young. He was terrified. People told Senior he was crazy, that he was trying to get rich off his kids. But David won by first round knockout. The family was still broke though. Senior would pull into McDonald's with $2, buy 2 double cheeseburgers for his sons, and watch them eat while his own stomach rumbled. The plan was working, but the pressure was building. Chapter 6: The Shooting. Junior won a world title in 2014, but success brought a dark side. He spent his winnings on fast cars and fancy guns, including a Colt 38 with the Green Reaper on the handle. Senior warned him, "You think you're a superstar? You could end up dead." On a summer night in 2016, their 3 lives changed. Junior went outside the home that he shared with his girlfriend to walk his schnauzer and what he claims was a $10,000 cat. The exotic pet indicative of his warped perspective. Outside, he started down the street, his head buried in his phone. After the dog started barking, Junior noticed a man standing nearby wearing, oddly, a dark hoodie in triple-digit summer heat. As the man slowly approached, Junior noticed his mustache, sideburns, and a familiar expression he often saw from opponents: fear. The man asked whether the dog bit. "No," he responded. As he bent down towards the dog, he heard the first shot from the gun that pierced his femoral artery in his right knee. Junior raised his hand in front of him, and the bullet meant for his head instead glanced the edge of his pinky finger. "Dude," Junior told the assailant, "you're a bitch." Junior called his father first, then David. He worried more for his career than his life. He screamed into the night until the ambulance sirens drowned out his wails. He told his father that he failed them, ruined the dream they shared. He told his brother not to worry, that he would be alright. As the news spread, extended family and friends expressed shock, outrage, but not Senior. "When I heard the shot, I knew it was coming," he says. The Benavidez boys believed that someone close to Junior ordered the shooting, after a dispute over a woman that Junior had quote-unquote stolen from one of his gangster friends. His father warned Junior both of what might happen and what he stood to lose if anything went wrong. But despite all the sacrifice, all he'd done and all he left behind, he couldn't save Junior on that night. Senior started to sink into depression. His oldest son had turned into his old self. He pointed the blame inward and thought, I created a monster. Chapter 7. The Youngest Champ and the Hospital Curtain. With Junior's legs shredded, the burden shifted to David. In 2017, he fought Ronald Gabriel for the title. 3 weeks before the fight, his uncle was killed in a standoff with police. David almost canceled the fight, but he knew his uncle wanted him to fight and win, for himself and for his broken brother. David fought with the flu, dropped 8 pounds in the final 24 hours, and won. At 20, he was the youngest champion in history. But in the hospital afterward, receiving treatment for a broken hand, he heard a doctor behind the curtain listing the injuries of the man in the bed next to him. Concussion, broken jaw, broken nose. It was his opponent. David looked at his brother and said, I do this to make you happy. Junior's response was a warning. Don't. You're going to have problems if you're not happy with yourself. Chapter 7. Back to the beginning. Through all the mishaps and bad decisions in the shooting, Senior continued to move camp. Both he and his youngest son desired the same aim. Something closer to normalcy, a place to begin to reclaim all that they had lost. Eventually, they all settled outside Seattle near the airport. One of David's friends grew up near there, and he swayed David with his descriptions of the summers, plus the chance to build a boxing haven in one place nobody would ever expect. David bought a house near the water, Junior got a spot nearby, and Senior opened the gym, grew it, and then opened another in the strip mall, with images of his homegrown champions covering the windows, preparing for business to boom in the spring of 2020, until the coronavirus hit. David won back his belt in September 2019 after losing it to a positive drug test of cocaine. He won it knocking out another world champion in Anthony Durrell in the Staples Center in LA. Then, 3 fights he expected to be made never materialized, but despite his own career stall, the positive test, and the death of an uncle, the injury to his brother, and COVID-19, he had found something near Seattle that he never had as an adult. Stability felt good. His girlfriend became pregnant with his first child, a boy he plans to mold into a fighter, another link into the family business. It seems like home now, David says, like how it felt back in the beginning. This was the Benavidez family story untold. If you liked the content, comment, like, and subscribe, and let us know if you liked it or what would you like to hear about next. Thank you very much, and see you next time.